Hello, everyone. This is 𝐴𝐮𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐚. I'm a registered migration agent and co-founder of 𝐏𝐻𝐿 Consultants. We are live again with one of the exciting webinar with Study Adelaide. Uh, Before I introduce to my host, who is a part of our Study Adelaide, and he's been really active working to promote the study South Australia and specifically the Adelaide universities. We met together at ICEF conference. There was few one to one, the sessions I had with him, and we connected well. We decided to do this live, and he was onto it. He was so excited. So we thought to just plan it accordingly, and now we are here. So let me introduce my host now, formally. So his name is Reinhardt, who is the marketing coordinator Asia and Australia at Study Adelaide. He's a marketing enthusiast, has 10 years of experience as a marketing specialist in different fields. He previously worked as a student ambassador at Study Adelaide, whereas he's been an awesome guy, a nice person. It's delight to have him here. Let's welcome him.
Hi, Anil. Thank you so much for that formal introduction. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. Really glad of the things 𝐏𝐻𝐿 consultants are doing, and always happy to talk about this lovely city called Adelaide. Me personally, I did come as an international student 4 years ago, so I completely understand the concerns and the questions and the information that students need. We are here to answer those today in the form of a presentation. But yeah, happy to be completing that whole loop and now talking about the city where once I used to be a student and on the other side of the screen. So thank you so much for having us today. And whenever, if you feel, I'm happy to go with the presentation when you're ready.
No issues at all. Thank you so much, Ryan. And I believe that the way you guys are working and you welcomed us in Adelaide as well, it was quite amazing. I'm always been a true ambassador of, sending my students to Adelaide because I know it's a beautiful city. I've been there for a couple of days. I've been there many times there, but, last time it was really fantastic. I can see there are great opportunities ahead for those who are intending to come to Australia, especially to South Australia, and those are already there. Obviously, they know what exactly it's coming, but obviously, this specific show is all about letting the other people know who yet to come to South Australia, what exactly the South Australia can offer them. So we'll take a short break. I think we have massive amount of audience already have joined us, but we'll take a short break, and after the break we'll formally start with Ryan to start his PPT. All right, okay, let's take a break. Yeah. All right, welcome back, audience. So I'll hand it over to Rayan. He has a PPT where he would be discussing about lots of your stuff regarding, Study Adelaide and what exactly they are offering and how things are going in South Australia, specifically in Adelaide. So over to Rayan, and then I'll have few more questions to ask. We'll do at the end. Yeah, after the PPT.
No worries. Thank you so much, Anil. Thank you for this time, and it's an honor, pleasure being here with you guys today. So, as Anil said, my name is Reinhardt Mascarenhas. I'm the marketing coordinator for South Asia and Australia. I used to be a previous international student, so I do understand the journey that you've gone through. Today's presentation or information session is all about Adelaide, the benefits it has for international students if you choose to come and study and live over here. So without further ado, we'll begin a few presentation slides that I've created for you. So what is Study Adelaide? If you go to the next slide, Study Adelaide is basically a partnership between the government of South Australia and the education industry here in South Australia. We work on three important functions, or you can call it as pillars, which is destination marketing, student engagement, and industry advocacy. We do have almost 60 plus institution partners that are our members, and we predominantly promote Adelaide as a destination. But having said that, while you have arrived in Adelaide, and if you are in Adelaide, we also do organize almost 80 to 100 student engagement activities and events which are free for the students to participate in. And then we also, the third leg or the third pillar is our industry advocacy, where we reach out to companies, businesses, employers, future employers for students, as well as the whole industry ecosystem here, to understand the shortcomings or the opportunities that are available for students. So if you go to the next slide, this is an aerial view of Adelaide. It shows what the city looks like from kind of a helicopter shot or a bird's eye view. And a little bit about, if you haven't heard about Adelaide or if you haven't been to Adelaide before, where is Adelaide? So the next slide, Adelaide is located in South Australia. It is the capital city of South Australia. As you can see on the map, if you know Melbourne or Sydney, it's not very far from Melbourne. It's an hour flight from Melbourne. We have a population of almost 1.7 million in Adelaide. So I know there is this notion that Adelaide is a rural town or it's not a city, but that's, I'm here to strike that off. It actually is a metropolitan city with regional benefits. We do take a lot of pride in being known as the most welcoming and friendly community. And that is very important when you are thinking as an international student of leaving your home country or leaving your comfort zone and arriving into a new city. It's important to arrive into a community that is welcoming and happy to have international students as part of that community. Some few fun facts about Adelaide. Adelaide is known as the smart city. It's also the festival state. So as you see on the next slide, we also known as the defense state as well. Interestingly, we've also been known as the Nobel Prize capital. So Nobel Prize winners are those winners that are awarded as a lifetime achievement awards for their excellence in that particular field. We've had a few Nobel laureates that have graduated from our universities and education institutions here in Adelaide. If you've been in Australia and in different city, you do know that not many cities were planned when it comes to the structure of the city. However, Adelaide is a planned city in Australia and is surrounded with a lot of parklands in the outer ring, whereas the CBD or the city center is right inside. We are known as the 20-minute city because it has been planned that well, which basically means it can take you 20 minutes to cover north to south, east to west because of such good connectivity. They're not surrounded, but one part of our border is complete beaches and it's the sea. So we've got almost 70 kilometers of stretch of metropolitan beaches where you can go ahead and swim with some lovely animals and sea life as well. And the next slide is kind of gives you a shot of what I was speaking about. So as you can see, the city is right in the center of, as in the CBD district is right in the center, and then you're surrounded by these lovely, beautiful parklands and suburbs. You've got hills on one side, and then you've got lovely beaches on the other. So I guess as a student or as a resident of the city, if you want to decide to just come out of your office or the university, there's so many other opportunities and places you can go. Any cricketing fans on or in the audience? As you can see in the top, in the bottom right corner, there is the Adelaide Oval. That is a full-fledged international stadium that hosts a lot of cricket matches. If there are my brothers from Pakistan and brothers from India, I guess the India versus Pakistan World Cup T20 is going to be hosted there in November. So that's another good opportunity. So students can go and witness these games as well. A little heads up, I used to work there when I was a student, so I used to get to watch the games for free because I used to do a part-time job at the Oval. So they also employ international students to work with them. So that's a opportunity as well. On the next slide, we can see what's the weather like. So, Adelaide, if you're concerned about the weather, it's pretty much a Mediterranean climate. As you can see on the next slide, we've got four um, seasons. So we've got summer, we've got autumn, we've got winter, and then we've got spring. We don't have monsoon, which is very as a whole season, which is common in the subcontinent, but we do get rains in winter. So, for example, right now is our peak winter period, and it can go to temperatures of 10 to 15 degrees. Whereas in summers, it's mainly during November, December, Jan, and that's mainly it can go up to 25 to 35 degrees. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to venture out, enjoy the lovely city, I guess, gems during summer, winters as well. Now, why Adelaide, right? Everyone keeps asking this question, what is in Adelaide? Why is it better? Why should I go over there as a student? What is value for me? So if you look at the next slide, we've got three pillars of why we think students should come to Adelaide. You've got an education excellence, you've got student welfare or your own well-being, and then you've got careers, you've got job opportunities once you graduate. So it's kind of this cycle that loops in, which helps you throughout your student journey on every step of the way. When we look at the education excellence, so I'll talk about the institutions that we have in Adelaide. So we've got three public institutions, and you can see that in the next two slides. That is the University of Adelaide, the University of South Australia, Flinders University, and then we've also got a private university, which is Torrens University, Australia. um, these four universities do offer a lot of higher uh, graduate courses, higher education courses as well. They are in the top 2% of globally recognized universities. So it's their ratings are really high worldwide, and a degree from these universities do give you that really good benchmark or that slingshot to a successful career. If you're looking at higher education in general, other than the universities, there are a few that offer higher education courses. So you've got Ironwood Institute, Le Cordon Bleu, TAFE SA, Kaplan, SABIT, ICHM, and IBIT as well that do a range of courses. We've also got the VET sector, which is the vocational education sector, and a few institutions in that sector are highlighted here for your reference. So they can give you courses that go from commercial cookery to, I guess, horticulture to manufacturing to mechanics as well. So there's a range of courses that you can do in South Australia, and the institutions are there to provide it to you. We do have schools. I'll just touch base a little bit. So anytime if you think there are young kids or if you know of any family members who or if your child is wanting to study high school in South Australia, these are the list of schools uh, that are available. They're private. We also got the South Australian government schools, so that is the public schools that are there for kids as well. Most of the time, if you are coming as an international student and you are married and have a child, most likely your child will be in one of these schools. And finally is the university pathways, and that's basically the colleges or the institutions that allow you courses to then move into your higher degree as well. If so, going next to slides, this is just the English courses. So these fall under our ELICOS. So we've got the South Australian College of English, TAFE SAI, Ainsbury, University of Adelaide, Flinders. So if in case your IELTS score is not as high and you need to do a few weeks of English learning, you are more than welcome to do it at these courses and then move on to your higher degree. So there are multiple pathways for you to come in and to study in Adelaide. All right, coming to the next part. So this is on the education excellence, and these are the well-rated institutions that we have in Adelaide. As you can see in the next column, it's the well-being. So why Adelaide from a well-being point of, I guess, outview? When you look at the well-being, if you look at the cost of living in the next slide, Adelaide is way more affordable than I guess your metropolitan city, other cities in Australia. So it's 12% more affordable than Sydney. It's 11% more affordable than Melbourne. It's got the lowest medium rent. So I know most of the time when you're studying as a student, you got to rent your house or you got to pay student accommodations. That kind of takes a big sum of your expenses. It's good to know that you're in a city where you have the lowest rent in Australia. So, and these are given as part of our surveys that we do with EIU and rent.com. So these are independent surveys that are run in Australia and they come out with these results. Another benefit for international students is they get 50% discount on public transportation. So, what does that mean? It basically means more money saved as an international student. So there's more money that you have in your pocket to spend on other activities, outings, or even send money back home to your family and relatives. In terms of the transport that we've got, as I said earlier, that Adelaide is one of the closest connected in terms of connections. It's very well connected. So the next slide will show you how you can travel when you're in Adelaide. There are three forms of public transport systems. You've got the bus, you've got a tram that runs within the city, and you got a train as well. And these are available right from early morning till late night. So there at no point of time would you have to feel I need to go out and probably hire Ubers or drive or you're stranded. There is enough connectivity within the city. The best part about this is in addition to you being as you get 50% discount as an international student, you can actually buy a pass, a metro. It's called a metro card, and it's basically around $51 for 28 days. So with $51, approximately the whole month, you can travel the entire city or the entire state for free, because it's only charges you $50. So that's really a good way of using that money and using it everywhere. If you are a little bit of a active, energetic individual, you can come cycling. There are dedicated cycling lanes in Adelaide, something that are not available, I guess, in the subcontinent. You're more comfortable riding your bicycles or to work, to the uni as well. So as I said, because it's only 20 minutes and it's pretty flat, it's not a hilly area like other cities in Melbourne, sorry, other cities in Australia. It's very easy for you to ride your bicycle to, I guess, colleges as well or work. You can even drive in South Australia with an overseas driving license. Would recommend you to check with Service SA, which is our, I guess, state transportation body. If depending on which country you're from and what is the criteria of driving, but you can drive with an overseas license. Um, this is the next slide is basically the public transport that I was talking about. So as you can see, it's $52 for a 28-day period. It's normally $104 for internet for the, I guess, the adults, the normal regular people. But as an international student, you get it at $50. So it's almost 50% off. You can either book it for a 28-day pass or a 7-day pass. And if you're a student, a high school student, then you can get it only for $26. So that is a different fares that we have within Adelaide. You can also make use of free buses and trams within the city. The next slide, I basically just put a normal screenshot of an infographic of what you can look at. This is something we created a year two ago. It doesn't include, it's just an average, so it doesn't include max a lot of prices depending on your lifestyle. If you want to go for a five-star accommodation vis-a-vis a normal accommodation, that will change. But on an average, this is what you might look at in terms of expenses with utilities, groceries, phone, transport, and rent. So as you can see, it's pretty reasonable for an international student. If you have never been to Australia and you think of 1400 and you're trying to calculate it into your own international, your own country currencies, it might seem a lot, but actually when you come to Australia, and Anil can back me up over here, it's pretty much a reasonable amount compared to the other cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane.
I think, Rehan, yeah, you're right. Because comparatively to Melbourne, it's still very cheap. Because at the moment, Melbourne is on the very high note. So somewhere around 22 to 2300 Australian dollars you need to pay in a rent in a month time. So generally, your average student budget is quite lesser compared to Melbourne. And
Yep.
even I can see the transport. You said the $52.20 for a 28 days pass. It's half of what the Melbourne is. So, it's quite expensive here in Melbourne and Sydney compared to what the Adelaide is. So, it's an amazing place to save money. And at the end, you can spend into other activities, as Rayan said. Yeah. So wonderful. Yeah.
That's right. And then the thanks so much for that, Anil. Continuing on, we've got the student well-being. So the next slide is basically what we at Study Adelaide do for international students once they are in Adelaide. This is an image of our current 2022 student ambassador. So as a student, you can also come and apply to be a Study Adelaide student ambassador, where you promote the city among your friends and you get exposure to a lot of events and activities and networking opportunities. Plus, the important thing is you get paid as well. So, that is something that we do as part of our well-being program. Uh, and in addition to that, there's a lot of activities you can do in Adelaide. So, I know. If you ever heard about students saying that Adelaide doesn't have much, I'm here to prove you wrong. Adelaide is known as the festival state. The next slide, as you can see, we've got a list. I've just named a few of the festivals we have in Adelaide, but there is so much more. There is absolutely so much more that you can do. We've got the tour down under, which is the cycling. We've got a massive Christmas pageant that happens in December. We've got Wom Adelaide. We have got the largest arts festival in the Southern Hemisphere, which is the Adelaide Fringe. So that attracts, and it happens in March. It's called Mad March, that we term it down here locally. But it attracts more than thousands and hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world to come and look at that. So it's over a 1 month period. So it's really amazing activity in the month of March. But in addition, we've got 400 events throughout the year. Our own Study Adelaide, this is what the city does. What Study Adelaide does is we organize multiple events. So in the next slide, we do more than 80 events per year. That includes Eid, Diwali, Student Fest, international awards, employment workshops, speed friending, pizza nights, quiz nights, movie nights. So there's so much that we do as well on a weekly, monthly basis that as an international student is available for you to participate in. Most of them are free. A few of them have charges which is minimalistic to maybe $2 or $5. So it's a really value add, and you can get these events as well. We start our community and our friendly community, which I said at the start, right from the time you land. So we have something called the airport welcome desk. You must have seen it if you were coming to Adelaide. That's pretty much on the baggage counter. So we once as soon as students arrive into Adelaide, we offer them. We do give them a little bit of gift packs, and this is only during certain peak times at the universities and colleges are opening their semesters. But we do allow, so we greet you as soon as you arrive, and then we kind of allow you to immerse into the culture as well. So, it's always challenging, I guess, when you travel to a new country and you just don't know anybody at the airport. So it's good to see a friendly brand or a friendly face once you arrive into that country. Our student experience, as on the next slide, we do host a lot of student festivals. So that's kind of an image of where the recent student festival that we did. We attracted almost around 1,000 students that came for that event. And we do it over lunch, tea, and a few soft drinks. And there's a lot of activities. You can perform if you like to perform. You can sing, you can dance, you can do an enactment of something. So it's up to you how you want to like to get involved, or you can just come as a student. So that opportunity is available for international students as well. Lastly, you can also do is our international awards. So if you do something that is achieving, as on the next slide, you get an opportunity to apply for our international awards. It happens once a year, where you get recognized for your valuable contribution to society, your excellence in your studies and different categories. And then you get presented an award by the governor of South Australia. So we do value international students. We do have a range of activities for your well-being. We keep you engaged. You get introduced to the community, you don't feel left out. And then you also get an opportunity to be awarded by a prestigious, high ranking government official as well. So that is the part on the well-being aspect of why you should come to Adelaide. And now coming to the last one, which is, as you can see, which is career. So the triangle is getting completed. So coming to career and talking about why career, Adelaide does offer students a lot of jobs available in Adelaide. The first thing I wanted to start off is something that we've introduced, which is Study Adelaide Job Shop. This is basically a platform that we've got, and the URL of that platform is at the bottom, the last point in the presentation slide. So what we've done is we've partnered with almost most of the leading businesses in the retail and hospitality sector, and there are hundreds. They have offered hundreds of jobs available in their companies. The best part about this is you can actually get a job in Adelaide before you arrive. So if you're coming as an international student, you have a COE, you're ready, you have a visa, and you're ready to come, you actually can apply for these jobs. And then even before you leave your home country or your home city, you can actually have a job in hand in Adelaide. So it never hurts to have a confirmed job before coming into the country, and that is something that we offer. So if that notion of coming into the country and having to search jobs and understand, that is something that you can overcome with this Study Adelaide job shop. Nobody else in the world offers this. It's only offered in Adelaide. So that's a benefit for international students specifically as well. Another thing that Study Adelaide does, this is while you are studying, but after you graduate, we also have graduate outcomes. We do a regional tour program. So that where we take students into different sub regions of South Australia in proximity to Adelaide as the city. We have opportunities for you to meet with employers and local businesses in that area. You can meet the local community, you can meet the mayor of that area, and then you can actually find jobs available in those places and settle there as well. So those are further regional areas of South Australia, and they offer you additional benefits if you plan to stay in the state in terms of migration. So we have this program as well. It's called Study Adelaide Regional Tour Program, and students can partake in this once you are while studying or when you're close to graduation. So then once you graduate, you can be involved in getting with these employers and getting a job as well. In terms of future Adelaide as a whole, so this is what Study Adelaide does for jobs, but what Adelaide as a whole has to offer you. We are a growing economy. We are designed to have international students be part of that growing economy. And we've identified 9 growth sectors in the state. So as you can see in the next slide, um, we have more than 155,000 jobs that will be available over the next 5 years. That has been announced by the government and the Department of Industry. As you can see, the 9 growth sectors are creative, defense, energy, food, wine, agribusiness, health, high tech, space, tourism, and last one is education. I'll highlight a few of these sectors in detail over the next few slides. So, as you can see in the next slide, we've got high technology. Oh, there was a video that was supposed to be playing. I think that hasn't get caught captured, but that's all right. In high technology, we've got the top global companies like Amazon, uh, Google Cloud, Tesla, Microsoft, that have all opened offices there. I guess satellite or regional offices or Australia offices in Adelaide. So these companies do hire a lot of businesses, a lot of jobs, and they give opportunities for international students to be part of those companies. So you can work in those global companies as well after you graduate. When we talk about spaces and precincts, we've got two important ones which are in the next slide. So we've got a Tonsley Innovation District and the Technology Park Adelaide. They are booming when it comes to our ecosystem of entrepreneurship and growing businesses. These are massive, it's actually called districts. They're massive districts within the city that have got empowering and I guess empaneling companies to open workshops, manufacturing hubs, innovation companies as well. And then those are working very closely with the wider industry, with education, and helping you to grow and provide jobs for students, provide jobs for people as well. So this is what is enabling, I guess, a lot of jobs in the state, and it is being supported very close strongly by the government of South Australia as well. So as you can see, I've just highlighted some key points. We've got almost four key manufacturing industries in the Tonsley district. That's where Tesla has one. Just going back to the next previous slide, and with the technology park, there's almost 8,000 students that go through each year because there's so many co-working spaces that is available. Now, coming to the next slide, we've also got something that's called the Lot 14. That is basically a space in Adelaide which is doing a lot of collaboration, research, and innovation. We've got multiple companies in there. As you can see, the AIML, Australian Machine Learning. You've got the Cyber Security Collaboration Center. You've got the Australian Space Agency, which is one of the key growth sectors. So the space agencies are equivalency to NASA here in South Australia. And we've got a lot of defense and space landing. We've also been known as the defense state in the country. BioMed City is going to be the biggest BioMed city in Southern Hemisphere. It includes the Royal Adelaide Hospital, the South Australian Health and Medical Research Institute, and there is another building that is coming up over there as well. A few important facts. The Royal Adelaide Hospital is the third most expensive building in the world. It is one of the only buildings that are earthquake proof. So if in case there's any earthquake that's happening in the state, everyone can go to Royal Adelaide Hospital and that will withstand an entire earthquake. It has got enough of facilities and amenities to suffice for the whole state for 2 days. For 48 hours, that can accommodate the whole state population in that facility. So those are some things about the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and that it's all prevalent in Adelaide. So if in case you're looking at guess at those kind of careers of engineering and cybersecurity, medicine, you have those opportunities, you have the jobs, you have the companies available over here. I've given you a rough figure in the next slide about a few, I guess, disciplines or fields that you can take over. This is just an average, depending on where you're working, the full time, part time, casual, or even each company even changes out. So we did this survey in the past, and this is something we looked at. So if you are an engineer, you can expect an average salary of about 100,000 a year. The future growth of that sector is really that I guess that job description is quite strong. Going to health and medical in the next slide, we've got, as I said, in addition to the biomed city, we've got some seven subsectors, which include biotechnology, clinical, physiotherapy, aging sector, which is the allied health, there's going to be almost $2.3 billion that is going to be invested, and it's going to double into $5 billion by 2030. So you can see it's a growing sector as well. So we do, if any of the doctors, nurses, clinical researchers, PhD students are thinking of studying, please come to Adelaide. You have those opportunities for you available once you graduate in terms of jobs and I guess challenges and opportunities as well. Um, just to show you in the next slide, we've got what the BioMed city is. As I said, this is the largest in the Southern Hemisphere. So you can see you've got the Royal Adelaide Hospital, you've got the South Australia Health and Medical Research Institute, you've got the university campuses very close by to that. So if you're studying anything medical, you can go out there. You've got the Cancer Research Institute by UniSA as well. Well, that just gives you how massive it is and why is it the largest in the Southern Hemisphere. Some of, as I said, some of the jobs that you can look at and the average salary that you can get. So in the next slide, you can see registered nurse, sonographer, pharmacist. What is the salaries that they can look at? What is the future growth for these occupations, and how well you can survive. So if you, I guess if you, it's interesting, right? If you were calculating the expenses in your country currencies, which was at 1,400 a month, now think about, I guess, $80,000 a year and how much that actually values in your currency. I'm from India, so I know in India it comes up to maybe 15, 20, 25 lakhs, or maybe 30 lakhs a year, which is something that you would never achieve in India if you were, even if you graduated from one of the top, unless you graduated from one of the top, really top, I guess, MBA colleges or something like that. Otherwise, you won't see those numbers. But those are numbers that you can come over here after studying and you can get. Energy mining, which is the next slide. We were the only state that actually survived on only 100% renewable energy for 5 days straight. So we didn't use anything else other than renewable energy, and we managed to generate electricity for 5 days for the whole state. We've got almost 20 billion investment in renewable energy, and there's a massive hydrogen plant that has opened up in South Australia. We've got the second largest copper mining, which is at Cooper, and as you can see, there's 913 current job advertisements, which is through the regional sector. Some of the jobs that you can look at in the next slide. So I've just put some kind of ICT project managers, engineering manager, electrical engineering. So you can look at $120,000 per year, and you can, as you can see, the future growth of these occupations are really, really strong as well. Next slide. Yep, these are the businesses that we've got in South Australia. And as I said, in addition to Google, Amazon, we've also got the four consulting firms, KPMG, Deloitte, EY, PwC. Accenture recently opened up their office here. The reason I put Bendigo Bank over there is because these are the top national banks, but Bendigo Bank is one of the largest, I guess, fifth largest retail bank in the world, and they are employed almost 5,000 to 7,000 people, and they have an office here in as well. Some of the management and commerce careers that I've entered. So if you look at the next slide, working at these top four firms, you can expect an average salary of 70 to 80 to $90,000 with a full time, and future growth is strong. So as I said, these numbers, these salaries are something where we've taken the lowest to the highest and we've averaged them out. That doesn't mean you cannot go higher than what is advertised here, and it's just an average. So just keep that in mind. The last one, second last one is creative industry. So a little bit on the creative industry that we've got. The next slide. Adelaide is home to a lot of top creatives, VFX filming. We've got Rising Sun Pictures that has opened here. So if in case you go to the next slide and you've seen any of these movies, uh, remember that their VFX, their design, some of their shooting was done here in Adelaide. So I know the big movies like Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Harry Potter, everyone thinks they've been done in US, but actually the work, the action, the animation, some of the shots have actually been done here in Adelaide. So, and these are just talks about the level of companies that are here and the level of companies you can be part with and contribute and be employed with. So it's a growing sector. There's a lot of more films that are going to be coming into South Australia. There's a lot of push by the government as well. So it does show you that if you are interested in those kind of careers, get a job here. So I've highlighted a few in the next slide. Um, and that talks about copywriters, graphic designers, industrial designer, and what you can see in terms of salary expectations and how you can then provide grow as well. The last sector, and I guess that is something to wrap it up with, is tourism. Adelaide is South Australia is known as one of the touristic states in Australia. If you are a big fan of food, we do export a lot of our South Australian produces exported throughout the world. Wines, if you do drink wines, we've got 65 or 68% of Australian wines is from South Australia. There is a lot of businesses and I guess hotels opening up in the state because they realize the potential. We were the 15th highest hotel occupancy rate in the world in March 2021. We've got almost 1900 new rooms. Sofitel, the Accor brand, recently opened up, which is going to generate more than 16,000 jobs. So if you're looking at those careers of cook or hospitality manager, front office manager, anything within the events within the hospitality space, this is a perfect state for you because there's so much of opportunities. This tourism combined with Adelaide knowing as the festival state, it kind of tells you of how much of opportunity that is going to be there for you. Some of the recently hotel, I've just made a list of some hotels that are recently completed and and that are under construction, which are going to be completed in a few years. So in the next slide, as you can see, there's almost 5 to 6 five-star hotels that have been completed recently, and there's almost 5 to 6 to 7 hotels opening up in the next few years. So, considering if you decide to study in Adelaide today or this year, by the time you graduate, you'll be in the right position to grab these opportunities and these jobs because these works will be completed by then. So, the next 2 or 3 years. So, that is a real, this is why I keep on insisting it's a really good time to come to Adelaide because you're going to have so many benefits in the future, in addition to the benefits that students are already witnessing or experiencing. A few hospitality careers as well in the next slide. So as I've just put, as a cook, as a chef, as a hotel manager, what you can expect. These numbers, as I said, as an average, it has been taken, I guess, a year or a few ago, but this is obviously definitely generating. I know a lot of my colleagues who are cooks and chefs and are earning much, much more at restaurants and places. If you did witness, look at if you Master Chef Australia, there was that winner, Sashi. He opened his restaurant here in Adelaide, which is called Raja by Sashi. So a lot of Australian MasterChef winners do come to Adelaide and open restaurants because they understand the potential that the city has to offer. My last slide on the career is the next one, which is the monthly income with graduation. It just gives you an average of what you can expect. So as you can see, I'm going to highlight two columns, which is the 2,000 to 4,000 USD and 4,000 to 6,000 USD. As you can see, in Australia, there's around 23 to 17%, whereas in Adelaide, you have 28 to 19%. So of people that are earning in that bracket range, and that's kind of very above average bracket that you can earn when you are as a in in the state, which is per month. So it's not a year; it's per month basis. Lastly, and I think this is something that Anil will have more experience than I do, but the benefits of, in addition to career, why to come to Adelaide, the visa advantages, right? Study Adelaide, not Study Adelaide, but studying in Adelaide offers you much better advantages from visa. So do get an additional post-study work rights. So as you can see in the next slide, you get an extra year of post-study work right visa if you are studied in Adelaide. This additional year is not available to international students studying in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. So because Adelaide is a metropolitan city, but it comes under the regional benefit scheme that the Home Affairs offer. That is why you do get that additional benefit. As you can see in the next slide, it is just a comparative analysis of what a student can get if they study in Adelaide vis-a-vis study in Australia or study in UK or study in Canada. So if you do a wet or a bachelor's degrees, you get 2 to 3 years in Adelaide, whereas in Canada, UK, and the rest of Australia, you get only 2 years. Trust me, as an international student, it does whatever your plans are. If your plans are to go back to your home country after studying, getting in some international work culture experience, or do if you want to stay and settle here, those 2 to 3 years make a big difference. You can literally recover all your education tuition fees. You can collect more than enough knowledge, experience, as well as you have an opportunity to get so much more points. I When I studied, I was not entitled to the additional year, but now you got that benefit. So I did my master's and I would love to have 4 years, which I don't, but I can completely understand the value. And then also it gives you a sense of comfort because when you're leaving your home country for a 2 years master or a 3 years bachelor, you then know that you have visa. You can get a visa for the next 7 years. So you know that you're not leaving and you don't have to come straight away back, which can be the case when you go to UK or other countries. So here you know that you got a fixed 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 years of visa that will allow you to then travel back and forth as well. So that helps you in the long run. And that's the last one, which is the migration benefits. I've just put a few points up there. As you can see, there's almost 500 skilled occupations. You do get additional 5 points for studying in Adelaide. There are state nomination processes like 491, etc. There is a lot of opportunities like the Talent and Innovators program. You do get some concessions. All of this right now, because we've had a change in government, so I would like to call that out, is being reviewed, and the new one should come out shortly. But these are some of the benefits that were prevalent as of maybe last month, if not mistaken. So it does help, and I don't think that might change in the near future, but you never know. But these benefits are there for students who are currently in Adelaide and have studied in Adelaide as well. Uh, and I think that's it for me for my presentation on why Adelaide. Just to summarize, it's got a beautiful education experience. It's got this well-being factor as a student, and then it's got amazing careers as well that you have. This is one of the videos we created recently. This is the life of Adelaide from a Muslim student perspective. So we did this video, I guess, to show Muslim students like in Middle East, Pakistan, what they can feel, what the video. But having said that, it doesn't portray that impacting Muslim students. It's just one of the videos we do as part of our promotion. So I think Urvashi will share that video now, and you can have a look of some of the things that are there available in Adelaide.
What comes next? The sound of your heart pounding as you face the unknown. The fear of the unknown, of moving to a country so very far from your own. But once you've overcome this fear, what comes next? It is a path. You see an opportunity. One to experience life in a city that is rich in diversity. a city that is designed for international students from across the globe. Students who, like you, are treading a similar path. Tread a little further. You will see universities that work with you. A city that is home to the oldest mosque in Australia and a vibrant Muslim community. A city that blends past and present in a harmonious symphony. A city that is one of the safest and most livable in the world. Now that path, it won't always be easy.
Sure. Yeah, it's Ramadan.
But beyond all that, you will find a home away from home. A community that will welcome you with open arms. A place where amazing stories of your own will unfold. So, what comes next? Choose Australia. Study Adelaide.
All right. Awesome presentation, Ryan, and it was a lovely video. Yeah. So we have just connected with this video, how beautiful you guys have made it. So yeah, congratulations on that one. And wonderfully presented, the all points, Reinhardt, because I had a series of questions. You have covered each and everything in the PPT.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So from return of investment, doing investment into your study when coming to Adelaide, along with everything, whatever the factors are, entering Adelaide, what are the rents, transportation, vibe and the culture of Adelaide, how Study Adelaide is helping international students, job shop, each and everything. So it was wonderfully done. And thank you so much for that. We will be taking a short break, and after the break, we have series of questions coming on the comment box. So we'll take one by one, and I'll ask Ryan to give the answer of those, and if it's related to PR, then I would be joining him as well. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be back after the break for the comments. Yeah, thank you. We are back. All right, so we'll take one by one the questions from our audiences. So let's start with the one. If team, you can put up the first question here. All right, so we'll start with Muhammad Ashad. So I'll read the question, and Ryan, if you can give the answer to how safe is it living in Australian suburbs, especially in South Australia? Recently, a Pakistani blogger Qutaiba was attacked by some guy there. Should the student moving to Australia and Pakistan be concerned about that? A bit of the experience of the blogger. So if you can comment anything on that.
Um, I, I think it's Australia as so I think this is it says Australian suburbs. I'm not sure if he's referring to Adelaide or Australia in general. Uh, I guess one thing to understand is Adelaide is very much safe. For example, when I came as an international student, one of the first people that met me was a police deputy, and he gave me his card and said, if anytime you have a trouble, this is my personal number, please reach out to me. So the police are very friendly over here. We do a lot of activities where we connect students to police as well. It is one of the most safest cities in Australia. And I guess Mohammed, guessing depending on where you're talking about in Australia that has happened, You do get those bad apples everywhere, but that doesn't become the whole of the city or the state. Students are very safe. A lot of the institutions here also offer you protected. I mean, if you're leaving late at night, so they do have some kind of security service or cars to drop you off to your accommodation. And in general, it is a very safe city at any time of the night. So I guess if you, as an individual, avoid the few nuisance makers, then you should be happy. Or if you entice with them, then probably that's not a good thing. But that, I guess, is everywhere. So in general, it's a very, very safe city for both men and women at any time of the day. I hope that was
Absolutely.
answered.
I second Ryan on this one that, Australia in general is the most, the safest country in the world. And perhaps these few things may happen anywhere, but obviously in whole general, it's quite safest. And even in my last, 11 years been living in Australia in general, have never been to such incident where, if you've been working your own and doing your own stuff, then I don't think so nobody's going to bother you even asking you what you have been doing. So I think it's a more safest country, and anybody should be, the first priority should be Australia, and then obviously studying in Adelaide, another beautiful city. You should be prioritizing your study to Adelaide for sure. Let's do the second
And
question.
Anil, just the last point on that. This is one of the cities where people will go out of your way to help you, whether it's asking for directions or it's helping you through a difficult time. So I think those are the few things that don't get advertised as much by the bloggers. But keeping in mind, this is one of the cities that the people are more than happy to help as well. So yeah.
Yes, and I have experienced that one in my recent visit to Adelaide as well. People are quite friendly. They generally give you a smile, ask you, how you are. Even a good morning wish is more than, what you get around Australia and other cities. It's quite friendly out there. So people are really nice. Yeah. Yes, yeah. So let's go to the second question now. So Hafza Haq is asking, what are the top most courses for the admission in Adelaide?
I guess it depends on you, Hafsa. There's nothing as kind of topmost or I guess ranking of courses. We do see from the subcontinent people do apply for a lot of IT, cybersecurity, um, nursing, medical. But as I showed you in the presentation, the nine key growth sectors. So it depends what you want to study, and I guess Anil can help you here in counseling and guiding you. But in general, what you want to study, what are you passionate about? That matters the most because you will find universities that will give you the course for what you're passionate about. And the best part is that Adelaide will give you the job for that passion. So I guess it comes down to more than what you want, what you like rather than what is in demand and I go for that. So think about what you prefer. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, I think spot on, Ryan. So I believe it's pretty much the career you wanted. So any industry or any course or any occupation can lead to, if you're eyeing for permanent residency, yes, there are nine key target sectors, as we have seen in the presentation, all leads to the permanent residency. Since Adelaide or South Australia has a big list of occupations to sponsor you, I don't think so there would be any issues if you're eyeing for any of these industries. Yeah, so let's go with the third question. All right, so we have Mohit Khan who is asking, hello sir, kindly recommend which course scope is brighter in Master in Adelaide. Well, I've done my undergraduate degree in computer science. I think pretty much the same thing we have already discussed. So if you have done a computer science, and if you have a plan to pursue in IT, then it's better to go with the computer science or IT. Cybersecurity is one of the hottest demanding occupation in Australia itself, and especially all STEM studies. So science, technology, engineering, mathematics, medicine, whatever you want to take, you can obviously go into the computer science as well. Let's get the next question. How, all right, so that's for you, Rian. How easy to find a part-time job in Adelaide?
It's pretty easy to be honest. Anil, as I said, there's so many jobs available. We at Study Adelaide have the job shop as well. So you can definitely look at that platform, and those have hundreds of jobs available for you.
Wonderful. So, before we take a next question, we would also like to give a promo code to our audiences who have joined us. It's a promo code which you can use to come down. It's THCSA 2022. So if you give this promo code to Study Adelaide whenever you are in Adelaide, they would give you a free gift hamper. But obviously you need to connect with Study Adelaide. There are a couple of, as we have already spoken in the presentation, there are the intakes every year. So sometimes the Study Adelaide do have their setup at the airport or obviously in the university premises. So you just go down there, discuss with them, give this code to them, and I believe that the Study Adelaide will give you a free gift hamper, what generally they give to all the international students. So if you need to add, Ryan, anything on this one.
No, I think that's pretty much it because we've got this platform and there's multiple job opportunities available. We have employers coming to us and asking us, we have jobs available. So can you give us, do you know students who have this job? So yes, there is definitely that aspect as well.
All right, wonderful. Next question, please. All right, so Sayyida Zainab is asking, how much can I earn doing the part-time job in Adelaide? So I think it depends on job to job, and
Yep.
if you're doing casual have, I think, better pay rate compared to having a part time or full time job. But then again, it depends on what exactly your nature of work is. Sometimes do people do prefer part time in order to have more annual leaves and all those stuff. So there are other benefits to doing a part time or full time job, whereas you can also do a casual job. Adelaide, as said by our host guest as well, that heaps of opportunities for all, for up to the 9 industries are already spoken, but then there are more other casual jobs are available there. So during your study, obviously you need to do some even you can become an Study Adelaide ambassador. They also give some sort of a remuneration to you if you're part of that one. So if you're passionate about, then obviously you can register your interest to them, and they can consider uh, to make you one of the ambassador for Study Adelaide as well. So let's go to the next question. I think that's pretty much done. Yeah, yeah. So what's the scope of the trade courses, Ryan? If you can give any.
Wet sector is really growing, to be honest. Hunain, I hope I pronounced that right. There's so many courses wet institutions are looking for. As you can see, if you even have a look at the migration of occupations, there's so many daily jobs that are in demand. So it is definitely a growing scope as well.
Wonderful. So let's go to the next question. So Mehak Meghani is asking, as you talk about living in Adelaide, so can you please let me know which is the best suburb to live in Adelaide for international students?
Mehek, good question. It does, as I said, it's a 20-minute city, so to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Whether you're in the north, south, east, or west of whichever suburb you're in, it will take you not more than 20 minutes to come to the city center, to come to your institution, and go back home. So, yeah.
Oh, how lucky the Adelaide people are. I'm traveling somewhere around 1 hour, 5 minutes from door to door from my suburb to CBD. So, Adelaide people are quite lucky. Less travel, more energy to work on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do the next question. So I think all institute. So Samra Abrar are asking what are the best institute to study in Adelaide. I believe all the institutes are, they are top quality. And as Ryan said that, they are in one of the top 2% of the universities around the world. So they have very high ranked universities, whereas, very high quality private providers are there as well. I can see Torrent universities, then, I've seen also the Kaplan, IIBID. These all are very high quality providers which provides higher ed, I think postgrad, and as well as the trade courses as well, like vet courses as well. So I believe all are. So you just need to come down and discuss with us regarding which exactly pathway you needed, and then we can guide you through about the best institutes as per your profile. Let's go to the next question. How much PD score I need for PR? We'll discuss on this one. So Ryan is not the migration agent, so I'll be discussing about you, Bushra, in detail. Just send your resume to us at applications@thinkhigher.com.au, and we shall discuss about the PR requirements and what needs to be done in order to apply for skill migration visas. Let's go to the next question. Right. So, Rian, so sorry, we have lots of questions. I believe
Yeah, yeah.
really excited. So, Dilar is asking what to join Microsoft or Google Cloud, which course or degree should I go with? I think it's more career counseling. So, you
Yeah.
need to do computer science, and I believe that cybersecurity, computer science, IT, these are the courses you need to do it. And then I think Microsoft has their own basic certificates as well. Whereas Google, I recently have seen one of the video, one of the Pakistani girl working in Google, Poland. So she said that you need to look into the LinkedIn. So lots of Google recruiters are on LinkedIn. So I think even in the job shop, Study Adelaide, they, equip you with lots of tools, and then they also brush up your LinkedIn and resumes in order to have more recruiters to contact you for potential jobs, especially in Google and Microsoft, these big IT giants. Yeah. Let's go to the next question. So Hafza is asking, is there any additional policy that you were added in admission after the COVID-19? So any additional thing they need to do?
Not really now. Whatever that was added is now being taken off. We, in terms of COVID, our precautions were so good that we are doing really well, and the COVID numbers are not as high. There's not much. You can definitely come into the country. We don't need to quarantine anymore. All those, we've got almost 90% plus third, second booster shots done. As an international student, you can get free booster shots. You can get free COVID vaccines as well. So there isn't any. I guess the basic is that two boosters that is there, but that is to travel anywhere in the world. But additional to that, after you have your two doses of COVID vaccine, you can come in. You don't have to take a quarantine. You don't have to show a negative PCR. Nothing. So yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. So I think that's pretty much it we have in terms of questions, because a few of the questions been repeated by the audience as well. So we have, so the last one, the Dilaw is asking, yeah, job seems okay. So he's just commenting on the for this one. Wonderful. So I believe our audience have been quite they were quite, what you call, they're constant, they have concentrated on your PT, they have seen all your points, and they're quite excited to be a part of the Adelaide study. And hopefully once they have got the visa and admissions, they should meet you in person as well, because Study Adelaide has lots of ambassadors, and then obviously they have lots of other coordinators, especially Ryan is the marketing one, so you can see him in lots of events being done, and he's been quite active. So thank you, Ryan. We'll glad to have you, and thank you so much for the insight. There are lots of things which even I didn't know about the Adelaide you have given in your presentation. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Anil. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having Study Adelaide, and look forward to seeing many students in Adelaide. Thank you.
Done. Thank you, Ryan. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Alrighty, so here we are. There was one exciting webinar. We have done it today with a comprehensive presentation by one of our hosts, one of our guests. Sorry, and I believe that you might have been educated with all the information he has given you. Do contact us if you have any questions regarding studying Adelaide or studying South Australia. I'm more than happy to assist you. My team is all set to help you out. And inshallah, once you will be sending us the queries, we are more than happy to answer you as early as possible. We'll take a leave now. We'll come with another few exciting webinars in next couple of months. So stay tuned. Keep checking our social media platforms and have a great day. Cheers.